Hey folks, Leader here once again. Welcome back to another movie review, another superhero review. I hope you enjoy my review today of Justice League Dark Apocalypse War and my review of Deathstroke Knights and Dragons last night. Both films I really enjoyed. Both films I really enjoyed. And as you guys know, well, this is my YouTube shirt. I'm sure. Yep. I'm a believer in now like 983 with a mass profile picture on it, guys. I do have another YouTube channel, but don't subscribe to that one with the Batman mask with the Phantasm profile picture on it. Stay on this one that has the mask profile picture on it, okay? If you want to see me do more reviews, more videos, more content on this channel, just stay on this channel. Stay stuck with this one, guys. And thank you for 266 subs. Appreciate it. Keep on subscribing, guys. I hate that I start over, but I do think that the audio is hopefully better, and the quality is better as well. Because in my older videos, a lot of the quality looks really bad, and I like the quality on here on this webcam, and I think the sound hopefully is good as well. You know, and again, you can turn the volume up on the video, and also, guys, stay also watch out for my community post as well, which says the next review, the next video I'm gonna do. Remember, there's a little bell you can click if you're subscribed. You click the little bell, click all personalized. It will let you know when I upload my next video, or when I upload a video on my YouTube channel, or when you see. It should also let you know if I do post on the community post about what the next review is gonna be. So, and feel free to share my channel with your friends, family, people at work. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. But if you're a fan of all movies, entertainment, you're a movie buff like I am, you love talking about film, you know, then this is the channel for you. So definitely stay tuned for more. Yeah. Anyway, guys, what I've been doing on my channel here is a superhero marathon. And I've been doing what I call the 2020s era superhero reviews. These are superhero movies that came out in this decade, 2020 to 2025 for now. Unless we make it to 2026, we got what? May's almost over, so we got what? Yeah, 7 more months. So it's possible. I might be talking about 2025 movies, but we're starting with the year. I'm starting off with the year 2020. I've only read a couple movies. That was Birds of Prey, 4 movies, right? It was what Birds. There's Birds of Prey. Damn, I can't believe I freaking forgot. Well, I just mentioned the other two. But it was Birds of Prey, Bloodshot, Justice League Dark War Apocalypse, and X Men. I mean, Deathstroke, Dice and Dragons. I'm not gonna keep on mentioning those, but I've been starting out with the year 2020. I need a freaking phone. And This is a film that I've never seen before, but this is a spin-off with the X Men film series. It's the 13th film in the X Men film series. It says it's the final one, but I doubt that because we have Deadpool and Wolverine that came out a couple years later after this in 24. Came out actually last year in 2024. But I didn't care for this movie. This was called, of course, it was directed by Josh Bone, I think. But in that film was called The New Mutants. Yeah, which I just watched on Disney Plus. I do not own a DVD. This is just an IMDb picture of it. I did not care for this film. This was boring. This is definitely going to be a rant. I don't know if I ever I really that pissed off. More like I was just. This film was really dull. It was really boring. I did not care for the story. Why try to make this into a horror movie? I've seen a lot of. I can name a lot of movies here that are suspenseful. You know what? Alien in 1979 that turns 46 today. That film, even watching that trailer, is more suspenseful than this movie. That movie, Alien, is a slow burn, but it's more suspenseful. Leviathan is more suspenseful than this. More entertaining to watch than this. Predator even is. Predator 2 is suspenseful and has good action in it. I'd rather watch Predator 2 over this. Sue me. But I did not care for the New Mutants. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the movie. So, from what I heard, this film did get many reshoots. Like I just read about Josh Bone. I don't know too much about the cast. But the good thing is, it is 94 minutes long. It's only 1 hour and 34 minutes long, so it's not that long. It did get mixed reviews from critics when it came out. But anyway, let's get into the production. In 2009, X-Men film producer Lauren Sherwood Donner, who y'all should probably know her. Well, she's the wife of the late Richard Donner, who Richard Donner, sorry, was the man that directed Superman the movie. And that was in 1978. And that film, I shared it a little bit. That film, have you guys seen me? Like a little mini miss in here. Sorry. Someone's acting weird. Anyway, yeah, in that movie, Laura Showalter, her husband directed the Superman movie, which it's the reason we get superhero movies today. And even Richard Donner himself, he would go on to produce some of the X Men films, and his wife she would go on to produce the films herself. Revealed to film her interest in a film adaptation of New Mutants comics, but that had yet to be pitched in 2026 Fox. After completing work on The Fault in Our Stars, which I have not seen, probably wouldn't care to, Josh Bone created a comic book with his childhood best friend, Kitten Lee, using panels from Chris Claremont and Big Sinus New Mutants comics to illustrate what a potential film trilogy those comics would be like. The pair have been fans of these characters growing up, but Bone calling the stories really dark and interesting and different from the typical X-Men stories that we read. Boone and Lee took the comic to Simon Kinberg. I don't know why they wouldn't have, big mistake. Simon Kinberg directed X-Men Dark Phoenix, and that flopped. That was sucked. One of the producers of the X-Men film series, yeah. But he's also produced some of the X-Men films as well. In May 25th, even I think the late Stan Lee produced this movie. But this film could have been, like I said, this film had reshoots, so I don't know when they started filming it. But I'm sure it was before Stan Lee passed away. In May 2015, Fox finalized a deal to have Bone direct the New Mutants from a script by himself and Lee. Kinneberg and Donner producing. The film was intentionally intended to span the universe of the X-Men franchise and take place 3 years after X-Men Apocalypse. While working on the first draft of the script, Bone sent in his ideas for the film to Zelinsky, who thought Bone had figured it out and was not copying the comics. Updating the status of the film in March 2016, they said that Bone and Lee were working on the script and that, like Deadpool, the film would be different from the X-Men films. Maybe not as different as Deadpool, but it has to be its own unique original voice to it. I get that. I do. Trying to be original. Canberra said that the film would have a young adult vibe, that there was potential for characters to appear, namely like Warpath, Sunspot, and Professor X, who have all ties to the New Mutants in the comics. I've never read the New Mutants come on. I know they have the X Force, the whatever, or something like that. Yeah, which we saw X Force a little bit in depth too. Before that, Marissa Williams and Anya Taylor Joy were being looked to star in the film as Wolfbane and Majik. The rest of the title team was expected to concept the characters Cannonball, Sunspot, and Marge. Sunspot appeared in X-Men Days of Future Past, which is a better movie than this, portrayed by Adam Kenton, who is not confirmed to return for the new film. James McCall portrayed Professor X and several X-Men films, was said to have a role in this one, alongside Alexander Shipp, who was expected to portray her role from Storm. But I guess that didn't happen because, again, Dark Phoenix must have been such a bad experience for them to be on and sucked so badly. Maybe it's all about time, but they say, no, that film was flop. That film was awful and a flop, so yeah, we don't need to bring that. Or maybe McCoy and Chip just said, no. We did a crappy X-Men movie in 2019 that came out in 2019 that was a big flop. You can just tell because in that movie, you can tell they just did not give a crap being in that film. So they probably didn't want to do another X-Men movie anyway. Spin off, whatever. Tim Burton read the script included Professor X and he stated his hope for filming to start at the beginning of 2017. But August Starr's team roster had expanded to include the character Warlock, who worked with Bone running the Fault of Our Stars. We're working on a new draft of the script by Bone and Lee. We're busy on another project. November, the Porter Williams and Taylor casting was believed to be accurate. The character Demon Bear was set as the film's main antagonist. For more of a Stephen King, John Hughes style horror movie. Style horror movie. Bone seems to say that the Demon Bear was a very personal villain from as a child. And they were, Southern Baptists, believed in the rapture, they believed the devil was real, they believed in demons and all that. I believe they're real too. But anyway, well, I know they are. Anyway, the film, we're not getting into that. Hmm. So, pre-production is the film entered pre-production in Boston, Massachusetts in April 2017. Preparation took place, was really used as a film location for Sugar Island. Did that film store? What's his name? Leonard Kim? Yeah, and well, I'm sure that's a better movie than this. I want to check that movie out. Yeah. File schedule, I'm sure it gets more intense and suspenseful than this. New Minutes on April 2013, 2018 release. Several weeks later, the studio officially announced the casting of Taylor Joy Williams that it was making serious efforts to find appropriate actors for the rest of the cast, searching for South American, Native American actors to play Sunspot and Moonstar. By then, McCoy was no longer to appear in the film. Like I said, him and Alexander Shipp, who played the young Storm in that movie, and James who played the young Professor, probably just said no. They produced alongside Kinberg, who ultimately spent much of production focusing on making Dark Phoenix. At the end of May, Henry Cycle was expected to cast as Sunspot. Richard Dawson was also portrayed as the Marvel character across the Marvel Netflix television series, So I was enjoying the film, but I'm glad she was not a part of this crap. You know, a mentor to the entire team explained that McCoy was no longer involved due to Professor X being written out of the script with further drafts, and Storm had likewise been written out of the film. Howling's brother Claudius, another character seen in previous films, did not appear, despite being included in other versions of the script. Bowen chose to save him for future films. They confirmed that the film They confirmed that the film will be a full-fledged horror movie set within the X-Men universe. There are no costumes, there are no supervillains. They're trying to do something very, very different. He previously has said classically not like horror films except for like classic ones such as Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, and The Shining. But was in a pioneer and champion doing versions of horror films based on the love of horror novels such as King's works. Charlton Heston was in talks to portray Cannibal. Xavier Dawson Heaton was confirmed to have been cast at the start of June, and newcomer Blue Hunt was cast as Moonstar. After his extensive and challenging search and paralyzed, the character was believed to be central to the Demon Bear storyline that the film focuses on. At the end of the month, Dawson exited the film. Thank goodness. I'm happy she did. She probably read the script and was like, I'm not doing this crap. Alice Berry was cast as Reed in her place. The final shooting script of the film, including contributions from Scott Frank, Justin Chad, Carrie Hayes, Seth Graham Smith, Nister and Weber also was six person writers' room. They hired to generate ideas for the film. They're a part of the script and played back together throughout the development process on the film. The script evolved from the full horror film that Bone Lee wanted to make and which Fox was resistant to a version with excessive blood and scares and more young adult focus. Storyboards would plan out all the shoots before filming. The casting of Henry Sargent on board was met with some controversy. Sargent was also Brazilian in real life. But was my goal was to cast a real Brazilian. I saw 300 of myself black, brown, lighter skin. I saw every shade of the sun. It was the same case with Blue Hunt. My goal was to find the best actor who, because I've done a little solo work, was at the least to find what I saw in my head for the character. Maybe if Henry didn't exist, I would have found somebody who was darker skinned who soon what needed. He added that he was not confronted with the real life racism that exists in Brazil, that he wanted the character to be a positive representation of the nation. So the film began on July 10th, 2017. Okay, 2017, but the film was released in 2020 of August. It was the year of COVID. They could have planned to release the movie a little earlier, maybe in summertime, like in June or July, but due to COVID happening, they probably couldn't do it. But filming began on July 10th, 2017. The film was mostly shot on location at Midfield State Hospital. Most every crew member had weird things happen to them. We wanted to use practical effects as much as possible to make the film feel like the horror movies that he grew up with. He had actors push on sheets of spandex to create the effects of figures pushing through the walls of a room. Attending reached by Wes Craven of the film Green Screen on the film set. Bone explained that the script had been rewritten following the most response of Apocalypse, so that the plot is set during modern day rather than in the 80s. It removed Professor Storm from the story. Because the film was not largely affected by his change since it confirmed location and lack of technology. Fox chairman and CEO Stacy Snyder described the film setting as a Breakfast Club and one flew over Cuckoo's Nest, which I think are better movies, by the way. She said the film was a haunted house movie with a bunch of hormonal teenagers. We haven't seen a superhero movie genre for more like The Shining. The Shining's even better. I mean, Jack Nicholson going, "Here's Johnny," was more intense. I don't even want to watch The Shining. I ain't really watch that movie because it's so scary. Yeah, yeah. Bone also was influenced by Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Dreamers. I've never seen that movie. I've seen the first one. I think I'd rather watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3 over this. I'm sorry. Yeah, you copied that movie. Yes, I know that Chuck Russell directed it. It would go on to direct The Mask. I'm sure that's a better movie than this. He was playing that Warlock had. I do know the line where Freddy picks up from the TV. He's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." You know. See, I never seen that movie, but I've heard that line before in the movie, and I can remember it. You know, Goku in the sequel clarified that the Demon Bear would not be the main antagonist of the film, and I'm sure Nightmare on Elm Street 3 has better special effects, though. By the way, and Freddy Krueger's a lot more scary than anything in this movie. What appears since the film was very much inspired by the comics, the character is the main villain. The film also took place in Massachusetts, of Millsland and Weymouth, and ended on September 16, 2017. The film's principal photography was stressful for him. He felt alienated. He didn't have toned down the film from it, so wholeheartedly. So I get it. He wants to make a horror movie. He's inspired by movies, but you're ripping off some movies. I get it. They want to make it, but I think, like I said, the studio, 20th Century Fox, post production, Bonehead and trailer editors Matthew, they delivered a cut of the film to Fox. They were happy with, and it's tested as intentional films Deadpool did. 3 days of intentional authority were planned to complete that Bone Lee and Fox agreed to make. Following the successful release of the film It, which they were trying to go with that, the studio cut the first trailer for 30 minutes to focus on the scary elements from the film. Since it's only a straight up horror movie, when you see the trailer for this movie, when I remember the marketing, it was clearly trying to show that this was a horror movie with a positive reception to it. Fox decided to make the film more like Bones' original vision than they had been making during production. And there was reshoots for the movie. The film's release date was pushed back to February 22nd, 2019, allowed to avoid Deadpool 2, moved it back. It also followed time for some reshoots to see require make the film more in line with the original version. When asked about this delay, Williams said that there have been concerns during filming the short turnaround from the end of photography to their release date. Fox again delayed the film's release from 2019 for Dark Phoenix. The studio believed that the reshoots required was more extensive, and consider I'm sure this cost them a bit of money though, doing the reshoots. Intentions to reshoot half the film, at least half the film. Yeah. They believe the film would not endure a similar fate to Fantastic Four, which I'd rather watch the Fantastic Four 2015. I'd rather watch Fan Four State than this. Which went through similar production issues and become a flop. The issue is not being placed on Bone, allowing him to write and direct the reshoots. In addition to adjusting some of the film reshoots, they also plan to change the entire subplot in the film. Yeah, for the post-credit scene, which I didn't really, if you see the post-credit scene, don't care to. The canceled Gambit film didn't happen. Reshoots of the film slated to begin by the end of its return for 2018. I used to really embrace the notion of a superhero movie or comic book movie that was a horror film. But I guess when Disney got involved, Disney converted the film will be released. They said it could be adjusted to better fit within Disney's existing schedule. Bone said the film was complete shortly after he explained the work on the film had halted when Disney's and Fox had begun, so no reshoots ever took place on the film. Disney removed the New Mutants from its release schedule, with several other films on March 12th, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The film was released late on May 4th, but the film was as for home media pre-order on Amazon. Amazon took the listings down later, but eventually the film did get released on August 28th, because of COVID and all these reshoots and stuff. I said the film became, it was filmed in 2017 for the music. Uh, the music is by Mark Snow. Yeah, for the final version of the film. You had Nate Walcott and Mike Mogus. I can't say the name right. To confirm to be co-hosts in the movie. I remember the first trailer for the film. I don't remember being on Friday 13th, but it said it was. And they did push Fox, Disney, whatever studio really wouldn't have pushed this to be a horror movie. I remember this. They're saying that this was going to be a horror movie. They're trying to make it a little real scary. You know, but they were inspired by the film, and not really. I'm talking about not the It with Tim Curry. I'm talking about the one with Bill Sigurd. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care to see that movie ever or the sequel. Yeah, I don't remember too much marketing for the film either. Maybe they had a panel for the film at the Comic Con home with members of the cast talking about the movie. It was released in the United States on August 28th. They released on DVD and Blu-ray on November 17th. Reception. I don't think it did too well at the box office though. Yeah, the film gets a 36% in Rotten Tomatoes. I think critics were just mixed on it. I don't know why I was nominated for Best Comic to Motion Picture. I don't get that. They wanted to make this film a trilogy, but that didn't happen. Like I said, the film did not do well. Yeah, they weren't gonna put the movie into the MCU as part of the X Men film series. But I don't think the film got any sequels because again, it flopped. You know, trying to make an X Men as a horror movie, superhero as a horror movie, blending the two with all these genres, just trying to blend in, just did not work in this film's favor. And plus, the studio's trying to get involved. I get what the director's going for, but and then the studio gets involved and reshoots are happening. Yeah, but for the cast of the movie, let's get to the cast. You have Marshall Williams as Reverend Sinclair Wolfman, a Scottish mutant who can turn the wolf, turn rekindle with her religious beliefs. I was not a fan of this actress too much. I'm sorry. But she's been in a couple movies, not just this movie, but no movie I've ever seen her in. Like she's been in Agent Wolfbane. Yeah. Anna Taylor Joy as Elena Vision Magic, a Russian mutant with sorcery powers. Let's see, I may have seen her before in something. She was in Glass in 2019 with Bruce Willis, and was that the sequel? Glass, I think that, yeah, with James McCoy, Bruce Willis, and Samuel Jackson. I think that was a sequel to Unbreakable, and that movie split. Yeah. She did a voice, she voiced Princess Peach in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I'm sure she did good in that. Done Part 2. Seems like a good actress, but just wasted talent, wasting her talent too. Charlie Heaton as Samuel Sam Guthrie, cannibal, an American mutant who can propose himself into the air and is by doing so. Let's see, this actor was pretty decent. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. Alex Berger as Dr. Basso breathes a straight mentor to the group and medical doctor who can generate protective shields around herself. Asperger. Not a big fan of the actress. I don't know. I think she was in, let's see, she was in I'm a Legend with Will Smith. I think she was also in Predators, which I did not care for that movie or her in that movie. Elysium, was that with Matt Damon? Yeah, never seen it. She was in the Suicide Squad as well. They came out in 2021. Again, a beautiful actress, but, some movies I've seen her and I've not liked her in so far. Just, well, maybe not her fault, just because they were not good scripts. Blue Hunt as Danielle Lone Star, Marge. She can create illusions based on the fears and desires of other people. Oh, yeah. She identifies herself as super queer. And she admitted that the best part of her leading role in the music in which her character named American because running involved with another woman was only, I know I got to be queer and then I've got to resent the, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Blue Hunt, whatever your name is, don't care if you're gay. Good for you. But keep it out of movie. You know. And you're not that good of an actress either. Yeah. And no, I'm not racist. Don't call me racist. She's never. Yeah. I'm sure that I've seen a lot of other Native American actresses and actors that are a lot better than her. Yeah. Henry Zoka as Bobby Sunspot, a Brazilian mutant who can manipulate sonar energy, like turn to fire. I don't know. He looks like one of the members of the Jersey Shore to me. Adam, he looks like the long lost son of either Mikey the Situation or Polly D's son or whatever. Adam Beach as William Lone Star, the father of the you know Daniel's father. I think I've seen this actor before. He's wasted here. He was in. I think he was in Suicide Squad, 2016 film, but he's wasted in that movie. That blows up in that movie. I think. Oh yeah, he was in Cowboys and Aliens with uh, Harrison Ford and Daniel Craig. That movie mixes genre like western with science fiction and face alien. That movie had a good concept. That movie flopped. And that movie, I love Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah. Well, I would say it's a big flop. Maybe it just didn't make big numbers at the box office. That's sad though. But it was a space western action thriller film. And that was a good movie. You can make genres in film. That's a good idea. But Cowboys and Aliens did it better than this. Well, for one, I think it had a better story and a better characters. Yeah. He was on Monkey Beach, Exile Swing Song, which I've never seen, but pretty decent actor. Happy Anderson is Reverend Craig, a priest from Buffalo's Village. He was in Duplicity, the film I was thinking of. The Medium, Right, which I heard is like another horror movie. I mean, not a horror movie, but the movie with Smith. Right's underrated. That's a good film. Bad Boys for Life with Will Smith. Sarah Michelle Gellar appears in footage from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer show, but that show definitely looks better, more better watching this. David Campbell appears Lauren in Arthur from Logan. Okay. And the film is directed by Josh Bone. He directed movies like Stuck in Love, The Fault in Our Stars, romantic comedies, and coming of age romance films. All we have The Pretenders. So normally he does drama and romance film, and doing a superhero movie probably just didn't work in his favor. It's also written by him and Ketan Lee. It's produced by Simon Kinberg, who, like I said before, he wrote the script for X State of the Union. That was a Mr. and Mrs. Smith movies. I didn't care for X Men Last Stand. I didn't care for that. I do like Jumper though with Hayden Christensen. That's an underrated movie. I really watch that than this. X Men First Class, which I didn't care for. He produced that. Also did the script for Days Future Best, but he had Brian Singer, so he had a good cast, good people to work with. Fantastic Four 2015, Cinderella, and Chappie. And The Martian with Matt Damon. He produced those films. Produced Deadpool. He wrote the script for X Men Apocalypse, and produced Deadpool 2, and produced Logan and Deadpool 2. And Dark Phoenix he directed. New Mutants he produced. Yeah. He's also going to be producing the Running Man remake, which, yeah, I look forward to that. But with the remake from Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1987 film, The Running Man, that's going to be remade. Okay. Laura Cheryl Donner, like I said, she's the wife of the late Richard Donner, who directed Superman the movie. She's also produced movies like, let's see, Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton. Was she a producer on that? Yeah, she was. Okay. Love that movie. Uh, Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home. And the first X Men movie, X Men 2, X Men Last Stand, X Men Wolverine, First Class, Wolverine, Days of Future Past, Deadpool, X Men Apocalypse, Logan, Deadpool 2, Dark Phoenix. This movie, and she also produces Deadpool and Wolverine. But like if you heard that movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, to come out a couple years ago, that's a better movie than this. And that movie made $1 billion at the box office. From what I read about it. You know. Karen Rosenfeld produced the movie. Says she's produced movies like The Devil's Prada, Yogi Bear, Marley and Me, The Bug Thief, Wonder Pork, just to name a few. Cinematography is by Peter Deming. Cinematography was pretty decent in this movie. Takes Two, My Cousin Vinny, Love of One, Son-in-Law with Polly Shore, Scream 2, Scream 3. Wait, what about the first Scream? Nope, just Scream 2 and Scream 3, which are better. I'd rather watch Scream 3 over this. A lot more entertaining than watching this, in my opinion. Scream 4, worked on that. Also Great and Powerful, we did cinematography for that. Last Night, Lucky You, Married Life, Capone, The Menu, Shotgun Wedding. Edited by 3 editors, Bob Civilian, Matthew Rodon, Andrew Buckland, The Girl on the Train, Ford Faces Ferrari, The Empty Man, Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, and Locked. Music by Mark Snow. Never heard of him before, I think. The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, Starsky Hutch, the TV series. Family, Las Vegas. TJ Hooker, but like I said, he came in late to do this movie, I guess, when I read about it. Third Justice, Birds of Prey, the TV series at Smallville. He did some music for that. Television films, a couple of those. Quite a bit of them he did. Let's see. Theatrical films: Plush, Born to Be Wild, Wild Grass. Yeah, those composed TV movies, television series, and some theatrical films. Production companies are 20th Century Fox, Marvel Entertainment, Kinneberg General, Sunsweet Entertainment, TGS Entertainment, distributed by 20th Century Fox. Here's this 28, 2020. It's 94 minutes long, about 1 hour and 34 minutes long. So, the best thing about it, it is short. But the budget to make the movie 60 is estimated to be around 67 to probably $80 million, but it only made $49.2 million worldwide. So, yeah, I would say this one was a flop. I'm calling it a box office bomb. It was. Regardless if it was 60, the budget was either estimated to be around 67 or $80 million. For the budget, it only made $49.2 million worldwide. Don't say it's because of COVID. No, it's because the film sucked. That's why. Probably it didn't find an audience. And I can see why. Yeah, so the film was a flop. That's why you didn't have a sequel or a trilogy. This was a movie I think that tried really hard to be a horror film. Yeah, but we'll get into that later. But right now, tell me more about the movie. Let me give you the plot synopsis of what the film is about. And there will be spoilers. So this is my first time seeing the New Mutants. I might mess up some things anyway. But if you have not seen the movie, turn the review off right now. And if you have no interest in the film, and if you haven't seen the movie, God bless you. But if you ever, by any chance, just plan to ever watch it on your day off of work, or just a sunny day, or just a day, just say, "Oh, I'm not watching Minutes." Don't watch this review then. So again, if you have not seen the New Mutants, I'm not trying to show you footage or anything, but be careful with that. If you have not seen the New Mutants, do not watch this review. Okay, turn it off right now. Uh, turn it off right now. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna give you the plot synopsis. What the film is about. You can stay tuned for that. I mean, you can listen to me talk about the plot synopsis. But anyway, but the story of the movie is that five teenagers who are mutants, Mirage, Wolfbane, Cannonball, Sunspot, and Magic, undergo treatment at a secret institution that will cure them of their dangerous powers. They get invited by Dr. Cecile Reeves. Dr. Reeves? I thought her name was Reese, but Reeves? To share their stories. But their memories soon turn to terrifying realities as they start to question where they're being held. And they find out who's trying to destroy them. They find out what's going on here. A lot of the scary stuff, they're having like visions, illusions, and spoiler alert, you find out this doctor's not Cecile, Dr. Reese. He's not the doctor you can kind of really trust. He's up to something bad. I could just tell right away with the movie. I've seen it before in certain movies, plenty of freaking horror movies. Oh, there's something going on, you know. Yeah, and they have to, she's got them trapped. She's got like her powers is force shield, so they're like trapped in this place. They can't get out. It's an institution, but it's more like a prison for them. So basically, they're trying to find out what she's up to, what's going on here, and they have to escape this facility. They have to get out, or they're probably going to end up, going crazy, or they might go somewhere even worse. And what the five of them are trying to do is just get the heck out of Dodge, just get the heck out of there as quick as they can, and get out of this nightmare, and take on Dr. Reeds, who's also a very powerful mutant herself. So that's the plot for you in a nutshell. Yeah. Every horror movie cliche you could think of, this movie has it. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about the movie itself. So if you've never seen The New Mutants, once again, turn the video off right now. Do not spoil it for yourself. There will be spoilers. Like this is a spoiler for your review. Well, a spoiler review. You know what? Not spoiler free. Spoiler review. I'm sorry. That means there are going to be spoilers. So if you've never seen the movie, turn the video off right now. I'm warning you. I'm gonna talk about the movie itself and give you my final opinion on the film. And yeah, it's gonna be ranting a bit. I'm not. This ain't gonna be an epic rant, but this is a rant. So, but not a full blown. I'm angry kind of rant. No, I'm not angry. But anyway, so the New Minutes it opens up. You meet, Moonstar, Dana Moonstar. She is talking about her father. You see that there's like a bad storm going on. He's like, "Honey, let's go, let's go." when they're running out, they rush out of their reservation. It's attacked by an unknown entity, which is a demon bear. But she's got like this necklace that she says it protects her from the bear. Her brother leaves her in this tree stump. He's like, I gotta go help them. I'm like, no, I gotta go. And she gets killed, and he's running for her life basically. And she gets knocked unconscious. And then she wakes up in this hospital. But she meets Dr. Reeves. She's like, she's scared. Like, where am I? She's like, she gets loose of her cut the out of her handcuffs like in a gurney where she's like tied up on the bed. Gets out. And Dr. Reeves like, I'm Dr. Reeves. I'm here to help you. Can you open the door? I can tell you what's going on. It's okay. She informs her that her entire reservation has been killed. That she's the sole survivor. She's like, no, what? No. Then later she gets introduced to the other four members of the group. You know, she meets Sam, who can through the air cannonball, and then Elena, who can conquer magic. Yeah, Magic Girl. I'm just giving her a name. She can also travel between dimensions called Limbo. Then you have Robert, Sunspot, I guess you would call him. He can transform into a human sun on fire. They all suffer through tragedy. She's like, okay, let's talk. I've said this plenty like 100 times. We need to talk about your problems. She's trying to sit down. This is where it kind of moves off one for the kookiness, but one of the kookiness is more funny, honestly, because I love when Jack Nicholson's like, Mrs. Crenshaw or Nurse Crenshaw, whatever her freaking name is. I don't care. I'm not gonna look it up right now. Nurse, can we watch the football game? And I thought that was funny. Yeah. What happened is that Sam brought a whole mine down on his father and discovered killing him. Roberta burned his girlfriend. And Brandon, she escaped her religiously strict village. Brandon and Eleanor was haunted by her past and slavery, as well as being called the Smiley Man. Yeah. But Brandon, she explains about, running from her village and all that stuff. And by the way, I forget the damn character's name. The blondie girl. Let's see. Elena, or Rasputin girl, Rasputin. She's a bitch toward Dana, messes with her. He's like, why don't you just go around there? There's not a prison, there no cages. And Moonstar just, tries to run out there and, whoop, hits the force shield, please. It's like, you really think that will work? She tries to, like, get mad and attack her, but then she teleports away. And later she tries to, like, kill herself. She tries to go on top of the clock tower, you know, the, you know, or the church or whatever, to kill herself. And then, I'm sorry, I forget their names. St. Clair, the girl that can turn into Teen Wolf Girl or whatever, or Wolfbane, whatever. It's like, there's two people up here. You don't need to kill yourself. You feel guilty. But maybe you're alive for a purpose. And she saves her out of there. She's like, it's okay. Yeah. But Elena, Dana, she lets her, yeah. You have Sam, the country boy, who has this vision, Sunspot boy, whatever, Sunspot. I might just make fun of him, hot and heavy. Hero boy, heat man, heat boy, whatever. They're just talking about the facility, about being there. Then he walks away. He like does the laundry there. He um does the dishes, while listening to his music, doing dishes there at the institution. Um, Sam has this vision. Sees all the mine workers and the working staring at him. He's like, Dad, he's like, son, what you done? And it just gives him that nightmare. You find out that Dana Moonstar, she has the ability to to make you live through this fear. Even if she actually killed her village by putting them through this fear, you know, whatever you're afraid of, she can put that in your mind. But she doesn't really know that. Later, Teen Wolf Girl tries to use a confession, you know, but then she sees visions of her village who chased her out and gives her a nightmare. Later, they're like in the room. They have like this hangout room where they can just watch TV or play games or just relax, whatever, at the institution. Yeah, I mean, you know, Dr. Reeves lets them hang around sometimes, doesn't keep them in the prison, but if they misbehave, well, anyway, Dana confronts her, she goes, bitch, and they both fight, and she almost uses power to kill her, but Dr. Reeves comes to time, he uses a force shield, takes them to what they call the hole, whatever. Yeah, where Elena will have nightmares of, she's got like her puppet, you know, a little dragon puppet. But by having her puppet, she's like having nightmares of the smiley people, which I laughed at that. I didn't find that scary. This film tries really hard to do like jump scares or be suspenseful. And honestly, guys, I'm sorry. I didn't feel suspenseful. I'm sure The Shining is suspenseful. I'm sure Alien is suspenseful. Halloween 2. Some of the Halloween movies are suspenseful. Um, Friday 13th can be suspenseful as well. A Scary Time, and the music in that movie and the Friday 13th movies or Nightmare on Elm Street, that was intense. When Freddy grabbed that girl and talking about Nightmare on Elm Street when he jumped, that scared me. Yeah, that film feel the intense the suspense in those kind of movies. Like I said, like the first Alien movie, uh, Vacancy with Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale is more suspenseful than this. Joyride with like Paul Walker and um, Steve Zahn, I feel the suspense. I don't feel no suspense. What I'm feeling through this, watching this whole movie, what I'm watching on screen here, I just did not give a crap. I was just bored. I did not care about these characters at all. Yeah. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, after they fight, she locks them up. But later, Elena spikes Reeves' coffee. With these sleeping pills, they run amok. They have to go to this area where they talk about their problems. They feel like truth or dare, saying what they've done. They talk about the X-Men. I'm talking about James McCoy and his X-Men, not freaking Patrick Stewart, because his place. So yeah, they talk about the X-Men. We're gonna be X-Men, yeah. You know, hence that supervision. So they believe that they're being trained to do that, to be an X-Men. And she says you can't leave. Reeve tells them you're not leaving here. You're dangerous until you're not dangerous and you're not dangerous. Then you can leave here. And she wants to put them under control. And Dana and Red they talk and they both share kiss. So maybe we went there with a woke agenda. I don't care that you play music. I don't care if you're queer, gay, whatever. Good for you. But leave it out of my comic books. Leave your woke agenda. Yeah, I'm calling it woke. Gay to me is woke. I don't care. I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna get into that argument. If you want to be gay, whatever road floats your boat makes you happy, whatever. But I don't believe in that. To me, I believe a man and woman should be together. That's what I believe in, and I'm not apologizing. Those are my beliefs. You know, yeah. No, I'm not homo, but homophobic. No, I'm not. But I don't want to see women kissing. I don't need to see. I don't need agendas in my face. I don't even need to see men kissing. I don't need to see that. Okay. But unfortunately, we do see Elena and Hot and Heavy Boy, getting in the pool together. They making out, and then he's like turning the heat. Which why would you turn into heat? So I get because fire and water don't really mix. Water usually would take out fire. Why would you turn into heat? Yeah, you're smoking up a bit, okay, but still you shouldn't be on fire. But eventually, she like teleports away, and he has like this something coming to his back in the pool, and it's his dead girlfriend who he burned by getting hot and heavy. Okay, and it scares him to death. He turns into his fiery self, you know, and Sunspot, yeah, because Sunspot, he tries to get out of there. And she's like, "You're not going anywhere. You're staying here." And you like push her, like, "Hey, calm down." Like, "We're not in a prison here. You're just doing this to get our nightmares for prisoners here, for God's sake." You know, I'm gonna call the cops. You know. And she puts Elena in the hole again for her attitude. Yeah, she puts her back in solitary confinement, whatever, or the holding cell, whatever the hell you want to call it. Reyes does, more experiments on Moonstar, finding out she has the power to create illusions on a person's psyche. And, going deep under, she finds out she's, you know, doing experiments on mutant children. If you remember Logan's daughter Laura, X-23, well, what they did the experiments on children, that's the place that they're going to send them to, uh, you know, to do torture them, yeah, to make them like slaves, basically, where they torture mutants and stuff. So they're not going to make them X-Men. And find out that Dr. Reeves is actually working with that company, that they're her supervisors, and she does these horrible experiments on the mutants herself to say like, okay, good and ready, take them, you know, making them think that, or making them, sorry, make them believe that they're going to be X-Men. Later, though, Rain, Teen Wolf Girl, taking a shower, sees her father, Father Greg, Father Sinclair. He brands her on the neck, and Elena has another vision of the Smiley Man, demonic creatures who have haunted her since she was a child, trying to get her. And they look terrible in CGI. Yeah, the movie does try to be slow burn to build up this whole thing about Dr. Reeves and the horror aspects of it. It's trying to do it like slowly burning, a slow burn basically. It's trying to build the suspense. And again, I'm not feeling the suspense. I'm just feeling bored out of my mind while watching this movie. Very dull. Yeah. And it's like they could have done more with the horror, but you can just tell it was done reshoots and that Disney and Fox, they just wanted to tone it down. You could have made this one rated R, but it's PG-13. They could have gone more than that, but I guess nope. We need it because it'll make more money. PG-13 will make more money. Probably that's what they're thinking. But Josh Bones, the director, thought, well, let's make a horror movie out of it because that's what we need after Dark Phoenix was a flop. Apparently that didn't work. Tell me I'm wrong because did this film ever get a sequel? Has there ever been a sequel announced to this? I don't think so. Because it flopped. Anyway, so they find Red. She's injured. She's like, hurting. You know, and Moonstar, she get her and Elena like blames her. Magic Girl like blames her, so her and Moonstar get into a fight, but she stops it by using the shield again, or just grabbing her, you know, but it was sedative or whatever, giving her a shot to pass her out. Yeah, and she, talks to her employers, Ray does, and she's going to do an experiment on Dana, so she takes Dana away, and she's basically going to kill her, or going to try. She's like, help me. She tries to kill Moonstar, and she can like smell what's going on almost. She can know what's going on. She turns to a wolf form, and she attacks Dr. Ruth. She starts scratching her face, and she like uses sedative to. It doesn't pass her out. She just takes it out real quick out of her leg. It's like, you okay? And they realize that they gotta get out of here. That Reed is gonna try to probably kill them all. Elena and Sam, you know, yeah, Cannonball and Magic Girl, they get attacked by the small man. Roberto tries to, get out of there as well. He's just doing dishes and sneaks up to him. Looks like he's giving him a back massage, but anyway, he turns around, sees, ah! They run. They're trying to fight them off. Magic Girl, I mean, her powers are kind of cool. She, is like can turn her to a sword. But again, they fight. They realize that they have to kill Reeves because she's controlling the whole thing. Because if they kill her, she dies. Her powers can go away. But again, she creates the Force Shield. They find her, and she realizes she was training them to be killers for access. She's like, but it's necessary to do this. I guess they do it for money, or just because they hate mutants. I don't know. Or this company XS makes money off of it. You know, but she's like Dana. But sometimes you have to be sacrificed, and she tries to kill Dana. They try to like use it to attack her, but Dr. Reed uses her force shield powers, to attack them. She's close to like killing Dana, so using her powers though, she summons the demon bear creature that had been stalking Dana since her childhood, and the bear, grabs Reeves, kills her, destroys the barriers. So it grabs Reeves, and again, then Lockheed, her little dragon is actually ruling this fantasy world. Talking about Elena, the magic girl, whatever. I don't know what to call it, for God's sake. The magician girl, Harry Potter type girl, whatever. Use her powers to fight the beast, the demon bear. And the demon bear, to be honest, that looks awful to me in CGI. Did not scare me one bit. And the climax was lame too, so they try to fight off this monster. Dana has another vision of her father saying, "It's not your fault," gives her the encouragement to fight back. She awakens. So she defeats the bear by calming it down. And again, I don't really remember. I fell asleep through all this. I don't really care to watch it again. I'm sorry, I just did not care. But they defeat the bear. Dr. Reeves is dead. So that means the bears are gone because Sam picks up a rock, throws it up in the air, and this shield is gone. So these new mutants, they give the belongings. They say, well, there's a town 20 miles down here from here. And they decide to take off to go face the unknown. But they know she's telling the truth. So they have decided they headed together as a family and they face their unknown. And I don't buy them as a family, but they face their unknown. And the movie ends there. They take off. So that's New Mutants for you. I was just saying some food. Mad Express. Anyway, let me see if there was I didn't know if there was a. Oh, okay. Well, then apparently. Okay. Well, then that was the end of the film. So let me get my final thoughts on New Mutants real quick. My thoughts on that final thoughts. But this way, even though I'm ranting on this movie, I'm not that mad. But this is a rant. I'll say rant slash review. But I did not care for this film. This movie was lame. It was so boring. You know, this film, New Mutants, sucked. It was boring and it flopped. It deserved it. But number one, the issue is the studio did get involved, but I do think Josh Boone was not the right guy to direct this. I don't think he's an awful director. I can't really say that he's that awful. He does have some interesting ideas, but it would have worked. Maybe if the studio didn't get involved too much, he could have made a great movie. I get the whole deal of making a horror movie. Okay, Ghost Rider did that from 2007. Even though that movie Ghost Rider's not that great, I like Ghost Rider from 2007. You know what? After watching the sequel from 2012, I say I like Ghost Rider. In this movie, I'd rather watch Ghost Rider. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that the CGI was all that great, but the CGI is better in that movie than this. I like the way Ghost Rider looks, and it looks scary. Yeah, you know, Ghost Rider has a little more fear to it. You know, it's more like a better horror movie than this. This makes Ghost Rider like a masterpiece. And I rather, yeah, the writing was bad too. It seems a little short down, having the idea we should make a horror movie. It was just stupid, and I get it. You're copying other movies like The Breakfast Club, The Shining, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Wars. You're just copying other films putting it here, or Stephen King a little bit, and this just doesn't work. Trying to make X Men horror. I don't know if these characters are. Yeah, the New Mutants. Oh, they weren't the Xavier, so they should have involved. They will. They're such like the X Force of the Avengers or teachers of mentor younger mutants. You could have done something a lot. It seems like the New Mutants would be cool in the comics, but we're probably never going to get a New Mutants movie again because this film was just awful. They're a junior class like Xavier and teacher. They should have done the whole thing with Professor X. They first appeared in 1982. Seems like interesting. Yeah. And I don't know if somebody go forward with it, but you could have done it much better. This film would have had them go to Xavier Institute. It was just, these folks that make these movies just did not know what they're doing. Yeah, Simon Kimball should not have been involved. You need three producers. Cinematography is nice though. I'll admit cinematography is nice. Marissa Williams, I did not care for her performance. Her acting was just not very good to me. I didn't care for her, and she's super queer. And I'm like, yeah, it shows in this movie. I didn't like the whole thing with the girls kissing. I'm like, why do we have to be woke? I don't need gay agendas in my movies. Okay, if you want to be gay in real life, good for you. I don't care. That's your life. But keep it out of my superhero movies, okay? I don't need to know that. Don't beat me over the head that people can be gay. People can be gay. I don't need to know that. Don't beat me over the head with it. And to tell the joy, she's alright. Yes, man, I liked her, but I do feel like she was in a bad movie. Charlie Heaton as Sam, I thought he was pretty good too. I don't think it's not them that made the acting bad. It was just the writing, the script, and the direction that made it bad. They seem like pretty decent actors. Angela Joy, yeah, Daughter of Phil Reeves. Again, I didn't like. I didn't. Well, she was alright in Predators, but Predators I thought sucked. And I Am Legend stuff. She's a decent actress, I think. Beautiful woman. You know, could be in a better movie though, in my opinion, than this. Blue Hunt as Moonstar, Mirage. Melissa Williams. I didn't like her as Wolfbane. I'm like, yeah. I mean, when she turns to the wolf, when she looks at the wolf, it does look practical and good. But again, I'd rather watch American Werewolf in London. That's a lot more scarier and more suspenseful than this. Yeah. The rest of the cast, I did not care about too much. Did not do nothing with the cast. And I do think they have some of them, like probably two of them at least, have potential to be great actors. But this film probably really hurt their careers. Try to be a horror movie, it just doesn't work. It's trying to be suspenseful, it's trying to do these cheap jump scares, if you want to call it that. It tries to be scary. It tries to build the suspense. I'm like, I've seen that done in better movies. Okay, even Disturbing from 2007, that builds the Shia LaBeouf. That film felt more suspenseful than this. Or even Jumanji from 1995 with Robin Williams. That felt a little bit suspenseful too, because you didn't know, when they were playing the game, you just didn't know what was going to happen next, what was going to come out of the game. Yeah, this film didn't suspend, made me feel suspenseful. This film just bored me. I didn't care about the story. This Institute, One Flew the Cuckoo's Nest, and When Nightmare on Elm Street 3. You're just ripping off other movies. It seems like the studio's so desperate to, you know, because again, Avengers Endgame came out. That made $2 billion at the box office. So they really, really were want to try to probably make something different, make it a horror movie. We're making something different. Oh, no, you're not. You're just copying other films. Trying to make a horror movie at a stupid place in the first place. Yeah, maybe you could have done it, but you just could have done it a lot better. You should have stick to having Professor X in there and have them. You should have stick more to the comics. I mean, I'm not saying every comic book film sticks to the comics. Not every comic book film does stick to the comic book of the actual comic book that's based on. It doesn't stick there all the time, and that's such a bad thing. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna like it, but this film just bored the crap out of me. It was boring. It was dull. It was lame. The acting, two of them were decent, but three of them were. But other than that, I didn't care about the lead girl, the Native American girl. You're trying to bring other different people, Brazilians and stuff. You're trying to sum up, bring that. I'm like, okay, cool. I can accept different races and stuff. As superheroes, that's cool. You know, I like black superheroes. I like female superheroes. I don't care what color their skin is. I don't give a crap about that. But the writing is bad. The editing is not that good. The editing is fine, but some of the action scenes lame. The CGI, the special effects are awful. The music score is just forgettable. Even though this film is 94 minutes long, you do feel that 94 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes. The good thing is it's short. It's not long. Thank goodness. I'm glad this film was not over 2 hours long. Oh gosh. If it was, I just, probably would have fell asleep the whole thing. But 94 minutes long, the film just, you lost me. You know, like within the first 10 minutes, I'm kind of disinterested in what's going on. My interest in what's going on the screen. I don't care about these characters. You're trying to have a woke agenda. It's boring. It's a lame movie. It's forgettable. This is a forgettable movie. I would say it's one of the worst superhero films ever made. One of the worst X-Men films. This is just as bad. This makes X-Men Origins Wolverine look like a masterpiece, for goodness sake. I'd rather even watch X-Men Last Stand. I don't like X-Men Last Stand, but it's better than this. I don't like X-Men Wolverine. I said that's a shitty film, too. That's an awful movie as well. But at least I have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, who I think that he's at least trying in that movie. He's trying. And I'll say this makes me want to watch X-Men Wolverine. Makes me want to do that. No, it's just as bad as X-Men First Class and X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix, and then this movie. Those are like my top five. I would say three, four. Well, I can't say it was number one, but yeah, Deadpool 1 and 2 are better. Deadpool 1, yeah, it did something different, but it had a good story, and it was unique and interesting. And Ryan Reynolds worked his ass off, and that movie was rated R. Both of them were. And guess what? Deadpool Wolverine came out a couple years later in 2024 after this, and that made more money. That was much better than this. Yeah, it's a bit longer, but I thought it had a good story. Wolverine wore the costume. I like seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, their banter and them fighting. Yeah, even the villain in Deadpool Wolverine, the female that could put her fingers through your head or whatever, that was more frightening and more scary. She was more a scary villain than the Doran Smiley Men. During any of the villains in this movie, she was a lot more frightening, and her powers are creepy. How she like disintegrates Human Torch, Chris Evans, spoiler, she like evaporates him like that. She can like kill you with just like that with her powers, and that's more scary than anything in this film. I'm not saying Deadpool Wolverine. No, it's entertaining though, and it works as a film, and it was fun to watch because I had Elektra, Deadpool, Wolverine started Laura, X-23 come back, and Gambit. Change name I thought was good. You had them fighting at the end, which was cool. At least that movie did something different in its own way. I like the whole the multi-universe thing. That worked for me, you know. And I love Ryan Reynolds Deadpool and all of Hugh Jackman, and that worked. That film was actually good. Yes, and it made billions of dollars. It pummeled this movie. It put this movie in the ground. You know, I'm sure when Deadpool Wolverine came out, and people watched it, they probably forgot about this movie. I know I have. Yeah, the New Mutants. This movie sucks. Screw this movie. I hate this movie. Never watch it again. I'll say this though: the cinematography is decent. The three actors, the one that plays Dr. Reeves, she's decent in this film. She's trying. And so is the girl that plays the magic girl and the guy that plays Sam, Cannonball. They're trying. But the rest of the cast, I did not care about. Latino Boy or whatever, Cannonball Fire, I didn't really care about him as well. Didn't care about any other actors. The other actor that was from Suicide Squad, that gets him he's just wasted as he's just wasted. You know. Yeah. And it's a boring movie that it does not have an interesting plot. The suspense doesn't work, and it just, as a whole as a film, it doesn't work. So yeah. So New Minutes, my rating for the New Minutes, I'm gonna give this film a thumbs down. My rating for this film is 1 out of 5 stars. So 1 out of 5 stars for the New Minutes. So guys, tell me in the comments down below if you've seen the New Minutes. What do you think of it in your opinion? Why would you rank the X-Men movies, including Deadpool and Wolverine? I know that film I think will also go on to be in the MCU. I'm hoping that they need to put X-Men in the X-Men in the MCU. I know they're doing with Fantastic Four. I'm a little of that movie. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm a little I'm not really too sure about it, but I would love to see them put X Men. They need to put X Men in there. That'd be cool. But if not, if this is the official last X Men movie, I'd rather just have more Deadpool movies than give me that instead. Because the 20th Century Fox, I do not want them touching another X Men movie ever again like this or X Men Dark Phoenix because they screwed it up enough. They screwed up way too many times. You know, yeah. So, anyway, guys, freak I can't talk. In this review, starring Gail Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal, Robin Wright, Connie Nielsen, and is a sequel to Wonder Woman for 2017, starring Gal Gadot. That is the sequel that came out in December 25th, 2020, on Christmas Day in December, and starring Gal Gadot, and that is the sequel to Wonder Woman 24. My next review, stay tuned for my next review, which is Wonder Woman 1984. Yes. I do remember this movie having some issues, but I don't remember hating it. You know? Yeah. My only problem is that this movie's like over 2 hours. Yes, it is over 2 hours, but despite that, though, I don't remember completely hating this film, but I do remember having my issues with it. But honestly, I don't think it could be any worse than New Mutants. Yeah, and this was another film that got delayed too, because again, when we got into the year 2020, COVID happened, a lot of movies got delayed. This was one of the movies that got delayed. I think this, um, we'll talk about that later. We'll get to the review. We're not talking about Wonder Woman 1984. Just say this is the next review, so stay tuned for this. And again, my rating for the New Mutants. How would you rank the X-Men movies? What do you think of the New Mutants in your opinion? My rating for the film is a thumb New Mutants is a thumbs down. My rating for the film is 1 out of 5 stars. So guys, once again, tell me what you think of Wonder Woman 19. New Mutants. New Mutants is giving me so much a headache. But let me know what you think about the movie in your opinion. Do you like it? Do you hate it? If you like it, why? And if you do, that's cool. To each his own. But anyway, guys, stay tuned for our next review, which will be Wonder Woman 1984, starring Gal Gadot. So coming up next, Wonder Woman 1984, my next review, and my last 2020 review. And then starting with the year 2021, yeah, which one came out in March, I will be talking about. Starting with the year 2021, we'll be talking about Snack, Zack Snyder's Justice League, his director's cut. Yep. It may not be today, it might be next weekend. I don't know yet, folks. But anyway, stay tuned for my review for Wonder Woman 1984. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Right here. Bye bye.